Cascale getting us set then for match number 3 of the evening. Fair few in tonight. There always is just a bigger crowd, a bigger audience in general when the Magician is in town. Although that was hit with feeling.
It's also the worst break he's hit so far. It's the biggest miss hit, and it's the best result by a mile.
Yeah, by a distance. Just an extra 2 or 3% of extra power there, which I think might have been reserved from the ending of the last match. Either way, it's come out beautifully, and Craig Waddingham has to sort of hold up his end of the bargain, really. I was going to make this point in the first match that these two played, but in so many ways, Chris Melling would be everybody's dream partner. But I'd imagine it's actually quite difficult being in those shoes, because you've got to really live up to your end of the bargain when you're playing with such a legend. And Craig backs himself to the nth degree, but there is, in its own way, a different kind of pressure when you are, you know, partnering genuinely one of the greatest of all time.
Yes, also I think it's not necessarily from Craig's perspective. I don't think that's the big issue, because he knows how good he is. It's more being on the same page as Chris when they're going about their Scotch frames, because Chris is so good and sees the game incredibly clearly and quickly, but not necessarily the same way as everyone else, and he's got to make sure he communicates what he wants to Craig.
He's having a giggle here, as I'm not sure he's exactly where he wanted to be. Did he have to turn that a fraction? It's a brilliant shot, if so.
He had to turn it in, but he's left himself a Craig Waddingham shot here. Easier pot in the middle than the corner, but the corner wins the frame. In the middle, he's got to get the cue ball right. Normally, Craig is so good at this.
Oh, that's good. That is very, very good.
Little tentative, that one from Chris. Just more jeopardy on this 8-ball than he was hoping. But it is Craig Waddingham that was playing the shot. And I tell you what, that pot to the top left-hand corner, I don't think there's a player in the game I'd rather have on that shot there than Craig Waddingham. There's some great potters in the game, but he's right up there.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to agree with you.
Much better start for them this time round than the last frame. Does that make a difference? Could do. We talk about the Scotch frame all the time.
Oh, he's going to break dry. It's a tough one, because we have this conversation with Phil Harrison's break quite a bit. This, for me, is Phil's best break. There's so many balls moving around the table. The cue ball is controlled.
I think he just caught it a touch on the thin side, but I'm with you. I'd like to see him use that break and more often. I mean, he does go to it to start with, but he will change. Has got one big problem out there for Craig, and yellow's in the way to make this easy to break it out. Well, it looked like it was. He just deals with it really well, just shaves past the yellow, pops it into play, and now this layout looks lovely. Taking his time here, because he's got to figure out how to get to the 2 nearest the 8-ball nicely. Looks like he's got too much angle now for me. I actually thought he was going to take the one to top left previously, when he could then drop on the one on the side cushion, and yeah, a big shake of the head. I don't know whether he felt he could hold straighter than he has. He's got a bad angle here.
Extension call.
it's part one of solving it. It's a bad angle again.
Yeah, he'd love to have been high on this, but he's on the low side. Means his cue ball's going away from those two reds.
Yeah, if the cue ball was a turn and a half further left from where he is now, he's just naturally drifting on it. Now he's got to force onto it. Well, he feels he can make this off the yellow. Has he gone far enough to be able to do that? Well, he's looking at the next ball, so that says yes.
Yeah, he lined that up. He thinks he can get to this.
Where does the yellow go? That's the other thing. If he's going to be hitting the yellow fairly full, the yellow could go up towards his other ball. Yeah, I think you had to play that firmer. If you play that, I didn't see that. I think the yellow was too far away to go in at that sort of dead weight pace.
Yeah, missed it on the near jaw. It just didn't quite deflect enough.
Yeah, if you play that a little bit firmer, a little bit thicker, it will just go in a little bit wider off it. And the mistake obviously is not making the red off the yellow, but I'm sure that Craig would have been expecting to be on a red to right centre to make that really easy. And his decision after playing the breakout, you saw him shake the head quite a lot, which is rare for Craig. You can see that was the... Oh, I thought he'd missed that for a second. So did Phil. But that was the big error for Craig. Not obviously the mistake there at the end, but the mistake was earlier in the visit.
It really, really doesn't take much. Talk about it all the time on our Monday nights. The margins when you get 8 quality players in one group, the margins are razor thin.
Phil not happy because he wanted to be straighter on the yellow by right centre to play yellow off yellow. Yellow off red to open up the yellow at the bottom. And that's why he's annoyed, because it's now not in his eye line. Easy to get this shot wrong now. And he has.
By quite a way.
Yeah.
By quite a long way, actually, by Phil's impeccably high standards.
And if you finish right behind that, you don't make that mistake. You really don't. You're going to make that shot every single time. So a big error from Phil. He made a big error in the opening match, and it cost them. At the same stage, actually, at 1-0 down. And a big error here. Probably a bigger error here, because when your opponent misses one of their last balls, you're meant to win the frame.
Craig Waddingham was not hanging around after that. A gift from Phil Harrison, who hasn't made many mistakes tonight, only 2, but each one has been pivotal. Craig Waddingham has shown already tonight he's not afraid to step up and take on the big shot. This was that brilliant red off the rail in the last frame. Out the pocket. Initially, I think after the error that he made in the last match, that red would have made him feel a huge amount better. You know, bailing his partnership out when it needed him. And he's got away with one in the frame just gone. Cool. Sounds like a gun going off in the arena there. And Chris Melling.
He's going to have to wait a minute for balls to stop. Still not absolutely flushing it. He's got more in the tank. And the split's not great. We get to see the Chris Melling mind at work here.
Yeah, yellows is a choice. That yellow, bottom right side, is a fairly massive problem.
Yeah, big problem. How's he going to solve it? Not immediately obvious. I think he would love to have a little bit more on that shot. The reason being, you can see he wanted, he's left a decent angle. He wanted to leave a good angle to be able to go into the red and yellow together here, which he's managed to do anyway. Killed that in very nicely. Misses his breakout.
Trouble.
Big trouble. What do you do here? You don't really want to play the yellow on the right hand side because it's killing a red. You've got to be patient here, I think, and maybe try and hit the other one, and then ask your opponent to come up with something. But you're going to be massive second favourite anyway. Yeah, he's not going to move that red on the right.
This doesn't double, does it?
I don't think it does.
Because surely
it didn't.
Chris wouldn't have played that shot to pot if this didn't double.
The yellow might have been in the way, but also it was much harder to make it because he was level with it. From low, it's an easier shot if it goes. Still an incredibly tough shot.
It's a million miles away. That's still all out.
So it did go, yeah. Right now, with 9 minutes to play, they're staring elimination in the face because, well, they're not. They're 2-0 up, but obviously if they don't get the win here, this could turn around very quickly.
It's a nice shot from Cam. Needs another one.
What I'm saying is I think Cam should get out here, and all of a sudden it's their break, and then the pressure's on the group favourites big time.
One of those layouts where it just needs one good shot and you feel like it's in the palm of his hand. That's not it. That is not it. And I think he's got away with it.
Yeah, that little nudge on the yellow, knocking it nearer the red, just made it a lot harder for Chris to not hit it, but get it going towards a pocket. Where it was before, it would have been a one cushion and try and catch it quarter ball and make it left centre.
Well, you can see it, so what does that mean you can do with it?
Not a lot. Don't think it squeezes off the red. Just trying to hang in the frame. This frame could take a while now that the reds have gone awkward.
Which, of course, isn't a bad bit of news if you're Chris Melling.
Yeah.
I think that was, to be honest, what he was probably looking at.
Yeah,
He's just making a bit of a mess.
I don't disagree. Cam's just got to find a way here. He's got to go and find a way to play the breakout. He's got a couple of balls that are good to do it. He could do it off the first shot if he wanted to. Potentially play the one left centre, top cushion in into them. More side needed.
Oh, well.
I still think he might have to go here just because of the time. He'll be pleased the yellow dropped in rather than sitting over the pocket. Does give him some potential safety options. Yeah. But he's going to leave an easy angle to go into it, so he still should fancy getting out here. And if that yellow sits in a pocket, you'd be knocking these reds towards a pocket where the yellow's blocking him also. That falling in was quite big for him. It's gone wrong. It's gone wrong.
Always felt like that shot had a lot of jeopardy on it because essentially the way it was set up was like a 3-ball break, and that's the thing with the breaks, you never quite know where they're going to end up. Difficult to manage. Whenever you're in the position where you're snookering Chris Melling like this, you know you're in trouble.
Chris is going 3 cushions here. Chris gets excited in these situations. He's the best ever at this sort of stuff. A lot of his American pool experience comes to play here with his kicking systems.
A millimetre out, and he knows.
In English pool, there is nobody else that can do that in the way that Chris Melling can. Nobody else. He is so good at it.
Yeah, it's never really a question of if he actually hits the ball that he's trying to play. He's just trying to make it. And Cameron Tolley, well, has had a shocker.
Yeah, tells us the top red didn't pass the other red to the corner and forces it across. And that's going to be the final nail in their coffin, you feel. Time wasted and they lost the frame. 3-0 down the match, they have to win.
And actually, in a strange kind of way, couldn't have gone any better, that frame, for Chris Melling and Craig Waddingham.
Winning it slowly.
Yeah. It's not often that Chris Melling wins slowly. Well, he didn't want to. He wasn't trying to. But the way that it fell for him is perfect. We've reached 5 minutes. Clock stops at 5 minutes. The racking of the balls. So 5 minutes left for Phil Harrison and Cameron Tolley to save their Pairs Cup bacon. They were at a very similar scenario when they won their group at this stage, where they were down and out in the second match, and Phil was close to hanging it up. They salvaged a draw, won their final match, and won a 4-way 6-red shootout. Even this might go one further than that particular evening, which was already extraordinary.
Chris should have lost that frame. Cam should have found a way, but give Chris some credit, not for the attempted kick shot, which was very good, but when he kicked at it to knock his ball into Cam's to kind of try and make a mess. He didn't know it was going to come out that well, but he wasn't trying to make it his ball. He was trying to make a mess. And
yeah, he achieved his goal.
There was you give him a lot of credit for that, because that kept him in the frame, and ultimately he obviously comes back and ends up winning it. But he still should have lost off it, but Cam's makes the biggest mistake, and if you keep asking your opponent to come up with that next shot, sometimes you get away with it.
Four minutes.
One bad yellow. Do they play on it down to bottom left? Do they try and move it? I don't think they play on it now. It's not good. It'll be a double, you feel, at some point.
Maybe pick the guy that's at the table right now to play it if you had to.
Yeah.
Oh,
not from there. Not from there. I think it is he's going to play a 3-ball plant. Where's the yellow going to go? Where's the yellow going to go here?
I don't think that's the phrase, is it? Where's the yellow ball going?
Makes both.
It's going in. And they're on the 8-ball.
Wow.
That's extraordinary.
That is extraordinary.
Chris Melling with a smile on his face. Oh, he won't be grinning if that ends up costing them. It would be an extraordinary comeback. But, well, that's step one.
That was some shot. That really was. I mean, he didn't know he was going to make both, but he was getting it tracking towards the corner. And even if it doesn't fall in, he leaves Phil on it to the corner. What a great shot from Cam. If it sticks, if it doesn't move, then how do you get on it? To get that movement, it's very, very well played.
Chris Melling cut breaking. 3 minutes and 5 remain. Oh, very nearly a golden duck. Very nearly a golden duck.
He'll be very pleased to see that red sit on top of the 8-ball. And my first question is, does the 8-ball go? If you go yellows, is there enough of it showing to go into the corner? Because if not, how would you clear up here?
Well, you talk about few players see the game as well as Chris Melling, and certainly as quickly as Chris Melling. I think you can absolutely say that Phil Harrison sees it as well. He also happens to see it not far off as quickly. He just physically takes that little bit longer to check himself.
Well, he'll tell you he takes a long time to see it, but he does. I mean, this shows you he's very quickly again about his work. He does see it quickly when he can focus on that and not worry about not finishing perfect. And the way he's gone about this tells me that the 8-ball goes no problem.
It's going to need to go no problem. Looks tight, but in it sails. 2 minutes left. 3-2.
And their break. Loads of time.
Yeah, a little bit of a... well, there's an atmosphere in that corner, isn't there? There's an uncertainty there where there wasn't before at 3-0 in front. Are we going to get a decider?
Those two hope so.
Well, neither team wants the draw. That's the important thing to say. I mentioned it at the start of this match. The draw, it doesn't eliminate either team. It actually keeps them both in, but hanging on by a thread.
Yeah, they need the next match to be a draw to keep them in.
Yeah. Only way you can qualify is with a 4-way 6-red shootout, which we have only ever seen one of in Pairs Cup history. It was won by Phil Harrison and Cameron Tolley in this exact circumstance. And brilliant break, brilliant leave.
It's a brilliant split. It's a brilliant split to do quickly as well. It looked like he had the right angle to play the yellow to bottom left and get on the one on the cushion. Maybe he was just off straight the other way. If he was, he definitely would have played it. Oh, he's got his line wrong. It was a brilliant split. It's not anymore.
Oh, he needs one big shot and then an even bigger one. Oh, he's going double. And he's gonna make the treble off the yellow. Chris Melling and Craig Waddingham shift in their seats.
Chris very, very rarely shows any reaction in his chair, and he just hangs his head.
Oh, you have to say, they've had some run against them in this night.
This needs making still. Oh, it's a foul. It was a foul, and that will be that. That is going to end the match.
And if you just listen quietly, you can hear the sigh of Keithley relief in that top right corner. Craig Waddingham at the table, 45 seconds left, and his partnership in front. Cam Tolley couldn't quite escape.
Craig can't decide what to do. Pot 2 balls, Craig. Doesn't matter which two.
One thing you would say about Craig is he did have a match clock meltdown in the Pro Series earlier on this year. Arguably cost him a match against Aaron Davies. Right, the first event, it was the event that Aaron eventually went on to win.
He can't stop himself from playing what he considers the right shot to win the frame, even though all you got to do is pot 2 balls.
Yeah. Even then, it just takes his time to process, and he's good to go. That match is over. We bid farewell to Phil Harrison and Cameron Tolley. Their chances of qualification have just evaporated. But for Chris Melling and Craig Waddingham, they are still just about alive.